guy alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon By. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Frank from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
Hello, friends. This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club. I am your host, John, and I'm solo tonight, as Nate and I are both venturing off into two different city directions to hammer out some details, and unfortunately unable to get to a show recording tonight. So we are going to kick it old school. We're going to be re-releasing episode 1, which is one of our favorites, the beginning, what started it all. So kick back, relax, enjoy the episode, and we'll be back to you next week with all sorts of goodness. Cheers. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the People's Pitch Podcast. We are the official podcast of Minneapolis City SC, the new Premier League of America team in Minnesota. My name is John Bisworm. I will be one of your hosts. I am also joined by Mr. Nathan Morales.
Hey, what's up?
And we will be your host the entire season. This is our first episode. It will be rocky. There will be weird points. We're all about making sure that if there's something weird, we will fix it next time. Before we start,
Should I have worn pants?
You should have worn pants. Yes.
Weird already.
Pants are mandatory for episode 2. Before we get started, we want to give a big shout out to Summit Brewing Company, the official craft beer sponsor of the People's Pitch. Please go online and give them love. They are celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, and there is much going on within the brewery and outside of the brewery. So, for more information, check out summitbrewing.com for details on beers, tours, and all of the upcoming events. So, Mr. Morales, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hey, so, when John asked me to be on this podcast and to co-host it with him, I thought, why me? But then I thought, hey, you know what? I'm just like any other schlub out there in Minneapolis who's vaguely into soccer, who plays a lot of FIFA. You know, I watch Arsenal games.
You own a jersey.
I own a jersey, right? So it's like I thought if this soccer team or soccer club is all about a movement and it's about creating kind of a grassroots club, I thought, why not? My perspective could be valuable. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm out next week. We'll see.
I don't think you yeah. We signed papers.
Okay, cool.
So there you have it. Mr. Morales, he is the voice of the people. He carries a PS2 or PS4 controller.
My God.
a PS2 through 4 controller in his car just in case a FIFA game breaks out.
I never know what time I might end up in.
So, back to myself. My name is John. I am one of the 3 founders of Minneapolis City. So you have one founder and one fan bringing the soccer news about the team, the ins and outs, maybe some things outside of soccer, but a very unbiased opinion from both inside and outside of the club. So anything?
We'll see about that.
Well, yeah, I'll try. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Morales, before we jump right in?
No, I mean, I think, just want to go over why we chose the People's Pitch, and I think we want to make sure to make it clear that this is, the founding of the People's Team for Minneapolis. So we want to make sure that we are the place to discuss all the local soccer news, and if anything's pertinent, some U.S. soccer, some world soccer, but mostly we're talking about MPLS SC.
Speaking of world soccer, do you see that the crazy penalty kick with Barcelona?
No, what?
Oh, Lionel Messi lines up to take a penalty kick.
Oh, and this is the one he said he was trying to pass it?
Yeah, just pass it aside, and Suarez gets a hat trick off of the pass.
And he said he missed. He was going for Neymar?
Yep. I'd rather go for Neymar, too. But he probably got bit right after.
Celebration bite.
Celebration bite. Yep. So to reiterate what Nate said, we really we wanted to choose something that really spoke to the fact that the team is supporter owned and operated, and we wanted to make sure that we carried on the fact that if you have something to say, we will hear it. We might not listen to it, but we will hear it. And we're really all about everyone who wants to be involved in the club, whether you're in the back room helping make the deals, or you're just buying a ticket to enjoy the game. But more on the podcast. We're going to be about 30 minutes. May go over, may go short in the first episode here. Not quite sure really what we're doing. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants until we hit the groove here. But we'll be about 30 minutes per week talking about all things city and beyond, like Nate said, if needed, if there's something big that happened. We'll be posting the podcast on our website on Wednesdays, as well as on iTunes. If you're going to our website, which is mplscitysc.com, you can go into the bottom of the webpage into the footer on the right side and click on the weekly podcast link. It'll take you to the page, and you can download the newest episode every Wednesday. So what you can expect is, like we said, an unbiased opinion in quotation marks. We'll be interviewing players, staff, fans, maybe my dad, who knows, maybe Nate's dad, maybe his son, who knows. But if you have any questions, we would love to hear them because, like I said, we are about the people. Our email address is M as in Mary, CSC. podcast@gmail.com. That's mcsc@gmail.com. So that's all about the general direction of the podcast. Let's talk about the team.
Yeah, what's going on with this team, man?
All right. So a lot of people are wondering, what we are and how we got there. So what Minneapolis City is a team that's dedicated to the fact that there's no post college season soccer at a high enough level for players that are good enough to play at the Division I level, and some of the players that play at the lower levels, and including some people who have recently graduated from college who aren't quite ready to make the jump to maybe a higher level professional rank, but need something that's of quality. So what I'm talking about is the fact that there's not a single dollar, Nate, for soccer scholarships in Minnesota at any level, Division I through NAIA through 3. So,
right. So if you want to play soccer and get paid for it by your school through tuition, you're going to Marquette, you're going to Bradley,
Green Bay. You're leaving Minnesota and you're going elsewhere. So what we wanted to do was create an atmosphere and a team for players of a higher caliber to come back and play in the summer and see their families. Because if you think about the fact that these kids are leaving Minnesota and going to play in Florida and California, Mom and Dad aren't hopping on a plane and jet setting every 3 days to go watch them play. It's just not feasible. So those fans or those parents have a chance to come back and watch their kids play for at least 12 games for the summer.
That's pretty sweet. And all these kids are local grown.
Local grown.
So it's like, they're hopefully going to have their neighborhood peeps come out. Right. It's gonna be a party at every game.
Right, exactly. And so that's kind of the backbone of what we started the team on. But we built it off of the fact that we had started a successful men's club, Stegman Soccer Club, which is purely adult amateur soccer. So we have 5 teams that range from the lowest level all the way up to the Division I most competitive level. So that team will actually, it's called the Internationals. We merged with them this year. That'll actually be the reserve team for Minneapolis City SC. So what we can have now is players who want to get more games instead of 1 per week can now trickle down and play in the amateur ranks with any one of our teams. So that's basically kind of the 10,000-foot view of what the team is and how we started it. The team was founded by myself as well as Dan Hodeman, who's our chairman, and Nick Sint, who is kind of jack of all trades from the back of the house. He's very good at the organizational side of running soccer. He actually runs one of the he's the president of one of the amateur leagues in the recreational league in Minnesota. So the three of us together started Stegman's, and this was our opportunity for us to create that next level on top of Stegman's.
So you guys have been involved in amateur soccer in the city for a number of years then, just as the founders of this.
Going on 7 years, yeah.
That's pretty, it's dedication, man.
It is. And there was a void for soccer for people who no longer had youth soccer in their life. And what we've done is we've created an atmosphere for men's league teams, but now we have the ability for us to create this atmosphere for college players, which is something that is drastically needed in the state. Because we produce good talent. We want to make sure we keep them here and we bring them back.
Yeah, so you're trying to bridge that gap kind of between what's going to end up happening at the Minnesota United MLS level and what's going on at the high school level. There needs to be something to keep people interested in soccer and kind of see our homegrown talent continue to develop throughout their college career.
Right. So, for example, you look in. I'm a Milwaukee guy. You look at Milwaukee and you see they have Marquette and UW Milwaukee, and they have the Milwaukee Cup every year, and it's a huge rivalry in college soccer. Thousands of fans turn out for that game. Whether you're either blue or you're black, depending upon which team you support. And the fact that there's that gap there for something that's post high school is really it draws a lot of attention and a lot of energy. And it's something that we think we can carry out throughout a summer.
And that's pretty amazing that something like that happens there, because otherwise Milwaukee pretty much sucks.
I can't agree with you. Have you ever been to the Jazz Estate?
No, can't say I have.
Our Milwaukee fans listening, if there are any, will get that joke. Anyways, moving on. So let's talk about who's driving the ship.
Yeah, man. Who are these people that are going to be in charge of this team? Not you.
Yeah, no, I am not in charge of this team. I am just a founder. I'm wearing a fancy scarf, sitting in a luxury box at some high school in Minnesota.
Is there a luxury box at De La Salle High School soccer field or Minneapolis South?
I mean, there'll at least be some sort of scaffolding we can stand in. As long as we're perched high above in a corner so we can get a whole vantage point, we'll have something. No, our staff is both decorated and dedicated. We have a technical director by the name of Alan Merrick. If you're a soccer fan in Minnesota, the guy is an absolute legend. He's from Birmingham, England, and he played late 60s through the early 70s for West Bromwich. Over 30 career appearances before he moved to Minnesota to play in the NASL. So, yes, he did play against Pele, for those of you who have no idea what the NASL is.
He played for the Kicks, right?
Yeah, he played for the Kicks. Over 100 matches for the Kicks.
Great cereal.
It is. And to this day, he still owns the brand Minnesota Kicks.
What? So he could just fire it up whenever he felt like it?
Yeah, he could press play and we'd have the Minnesota Kicks again.
Nice.
But Alan is a seasoned veteran. He's tried this level of soccer, a lower tier level of soccer from a management standpoint and starting a team. So we really look to him for guidance and to make sure that we're not doing any stupid crap. He will listen to us, but he will also give us complete autonomy to what worked and what didn't work when he tried this. So he's a great advisor. He's got the soccer pedigree. After his playing days, he donned the famous tracksuit and marauded the sidelines for coaching multiple teams in the professional ranks, and most recently the University of Minnesota men's club team. So he's kind of trying to bridge that gap between high school and professional ranks by working with the Minnesota club team here.
He was a manager for the Strikers.
That's
the first place I ever remember seeing grown men swearing as loud as they could and flip just middle fingers in the air. I was probably 5 years old and my dad was just horrified. And I'm the guy who went to a soccer game again.
Yeah. Yep. And there a fan was born.
Yep.
But yeah, so Alan's great. He really he provides a perspective that the rest of the staff and the founders don't have, and for that we appreciate it, and we're really glad to have Alan on staff. The next is our head coach, Keith Kicker.
No way.
Yes. Keith Kicker. You can't write a script any better that our coach's name is Kicker. Keith comes from the University of Louisville for his playing days. He was a member of the Twin Cities Tornado in the PDL League back in the day. That was Minnesota Stars. Stars or Thunder? I don't know. I wasn't living here yet, but one of the two. It was the Minnesota professional team's reserve squad. So he does have a level of experience as well as Allen in that level below professional. Top professional soccer in the U.S. So we're really drawing off of Keith's experience there. He coached out in Southern California for a few years. He spent time in the financial services community from a work perspective. So he brings both a professional as well as a sporting side to being a head coach. And we met Keith through the fact through
Fancy.
We met Keith through the partnership with the Internationals for our amateur side. So he was coaching the Division I amateur team that we combined with Stegman's, and really wanted to take on the role of being the leader of the team this year. And so far has done an incredible job of being both the coaching director for Stegman's as well as working with the players that we're going to be bringing in and doing the recruiting for Minneapolis City. So, Mr. Kicker, hats off to you, sir. Our associate head coach is Jeremy Ivaskovich. On paper, unless you know what his last name is, you can't pronounce it because there's a lot of letters in there. But Jeremy comes to us via Clemson, where he graduated in '99, played in the powerful conference with a lot of players that are now either retiring or still hanging on to the U.S. national system. So he played against some very top talent when he was in college, but currently is the head coach of Bethel University. So he truly is a professional coach. It's his job outside of being a teacher at the university. So the X's and O's of being a coach and supporting Keith, we really have an expert there at his side. And if Keith ever blows off the rails and gets red carded, we got a professional coach that'll just step right in behind him.
So it sounds like we've got a lot of guys that have had some experience, if not playing for, at least playing against some of the top talent, including yourself. Now you have a unspoken rivalry with Kyle Beckerman.
Oh yeah, he and I are oil and vinegar. We don't get along. But enough about me, Nate. Enough about me.
I'm just saying, all these years, all this experience, and we're gonna maybe some nemesis might roll into town.
Right. If we're gonna take a side path here, I really do believe we can find a better central midfielder in the country of the United States than Kyle Beckerman. I'll just leave it at that. But to your point, yes, the members of the club and the leadership have all played at a higher level. So players that are coming back, from these universities, there's no drop in the leadership that will be taking care of them for the summer, whether it's training or it's health and fitness or it's just leadership or someone to talk to about the landscape of soccer in the United States. It's really there. But in addition to our some of our coaching staff, Adam Pribble. He is an alumni of St. John's University or St. John's College in Minnesota, and he was a starting goalkeeper there for 4 years. And he's also involved in the athletic direction over at De La Salle High School. So he will be working with our goalkeepers this season. So that rounds out the staff. I don't know about you, Nate, but I feel like outside of all the other teams in the league, I think we may have an upper edge on everybody with those fellas.
It sounds like it. But what about the players, John?
Oh, great segue.
Yeah.
That's why we work well together. The players. So we talked about the fact that we are a home for college players, but what does that mean? We've signed, I believe, 8 college players between the Division 1 and 2 ranks, and I believe maybe one from the NAIA division, which we'll get to in a little bit. But we are currently in the process of having an invitational only tryout. That invitational only tryout was brought together by the fact that we're working with the schools in the MIAC, which is the Division 3 conference within Minnesota. So a lot of great talent in Division III level here. A lot of guys who wanted to stay home and not go outside of the state and play, mainly for maybe academic reasons. Maybe McAllister had a program that they wanted to go in for academia versus going to play soccer in Milwaukee. So a lot of the players that we're looking at right now, outside of the ones that we have signed, are kind of going through a little bit of a combine. We've had 2 sessions so far. I've been out to both of them. They've been tough. There's been some good talent out there. I know, from the coaching staff perspective, they feel comfortable with the team that we could put out with just the players that were out there, not even talking about the guys that are coming back. So a mix of those college players with some veteran leadership. And when I mean veteran leadership, we're talking about players who maybe recently graduated college or were a couple years outside of college.
And they're still looking for a club.
Still looking for a club, still in shape, very talented. They provide that, the backbone for a team that maybe will have younger players. Mm-hmm. So you don't have you have someone they can look up to versus just the coaching staff. So that's kind of the makeup of the team right now. We will be getting into next week the player signings that I had mentioned, so stay tuned.
So when you say you sign these guys, is that they're just committing to play for Minneapolis City throughout the summer? There's obviously no money involved, or is there a stipend? There
cannot be money involved because of the pure fact that players are they're still NCAA eligible.
Oh yeah.
So they can't get paid. So we can offer them some gear. We can work with them. But our league, which is another great segue, I'm glad you teed that one up. The Premier League of America. Formerly the Great Lakes Premier League. I don't want to knock the league we're in, but Great Lakes Premier League sounds a little bit better than the Premier League of America.
Sounds grander.
Considering the fact that all the teams are relatively close to the Great Lakes. So maybe a shift in a few years. But the Great Lakes Premier League, allows us to follow all NCAA guidelines. Mm-hmm. So we have no problems there. So any coaches out there who are listening, your players will be taken care of to make sure that we're following all the guidelines possible to make sure that their eligibility is never a concern.
So when we're talking about leagues here, it's really just a regional organization of soccer teams that play each other, right? It's not a matter of, it's not like we're talking about France or England where you've got League 2, League 1, Champions League, where because let's face it, like America has no relegation system. It's probably the greatest travesty of American soccer. But that's for a different show. That's for a different show. So without any relegation, it's just a matter of these kind of leagues that are organizations of regional teams, or how do they interact?
There's a couple different tiers to U.S. soccer, obviously. So you have the MLS, and you have the leagues that fall underneath it.
Like so like the United play in NASL?
Yep, NASL. There's the PDL, there's the MPSL, and then there's leagues like ours, which are about the third and a half or fourth tier in U.S. soccer. So the Great Lakes Premier League, the nice part about it for us is there hasn't been a rivalry with Wisconsin since the fact that the Minnesota Stars and the Thunder played against the Milwaukee Rampage. And it was a big rivalry. So now, with us playing in more of a regional league, we have not only our rivalry with Wisconsin, but we have rivalry with other Minnesota teams. So the travel costs are low. The league focuses on a division, an East and a West Coast division that affords people easy travel. So keeping costs low and easy travel means that the fans can go with you versus having to hop on a plane to Buffalo. Because no one ever wants to go to Buffalo. Marshawn Lynch didn't even want to go to Buffalo.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kids, right? So what are you gonna make them sit on a bus forever and waste a good chunk of their summer traveling when they could just be playing?
Right. Or who's going to pay for the fact that we don't have plane fare?
Right.
Yeah. Back and forth. So our costs are going to be put back into the team versus the travel costs and things along those lines. We will still obviously pay for travel to get to the likes of Milwaukee and Madison, but we don't have to go as far. And the league tournament will be in Toledo at the end of the season.
Beautiful.
Beautiful Toledo. Toledo's beautiful in the summer. So I've heard.
Interesting smells.
But the PLA consists of 2 divisions. We're in the West Coast division, but the East Coast division is made up of teams from Ohio, like I mentioned, Toledo FC. Michigan, where seems to be outside of Wisconsin, the state that has the most teams. So you have Ole SC, Carpathia FC, and Oakland County FC. And from
Carpathia is where the bad guy from Ghostbusters 2 is from, right?
Yes.
Oh,
you are correct.
Dangerous team.
Yeah. Look out for those guys. We won't see them until the tournament.
Yeah,
we're
okay,
fine.
good.
Yeah, we're fine. Then there's the Aurora Borealis SC out of Illinois. I know you're
Aurora,
from,
Illinois?
Yeah, they're
Yes!
They win the award for most creative naming convention, I think. But they're a brand new team, much like us. And then there's RWB Adria, who was they're the defending league champions, the Croatian powerhouse from Chicago.
Now, do you have to be a Croatian in order to be in that team?
I'll be honest with you, I've played against them before back in the day, and those guys are 100% Croatian.
It's like
Yeah.
the toughest Croatian neighborhood in Chicago.
Right,
Bands together
Yep.
to form an amateur. I can see the movie.
They are no joke. They're gonna kick you. They're gonna claw your eyes out, and then they're gonna beat you on the field. And those guys are good at soccer, which is the reason why they won the first ever championship. So that makes up the division that we could care less about until the playoffs. Our division that we need to care about is it's brought together by, like I said, a lot of Wisconsin. So you have closest to us being the Madison 56ers that are right across the border, a perennial league power in NPSL and the PDL, now moving into our league, and they should be fairly dangerous. They're a good squad. Then you go into Milwaukee, and you have the Milwaukee Croatian Eagles, which are two
More Croatians?
Yes. This league is not short on Croats.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So the Croatian Eagles are, I think they're 2 years fresh off of being the U.S. amateur champions for in the men's open division. So they're a tough squad, and I'd be hard pressed to say that there probably will be a lot of members of the Milwaukee Wave indoor team that are making the transition to outdoor to be on that squad. And then you round out with the Milwaukee Bavarians, which is a club close to me, as I am a former Bavarian. So I want nothing more than to give them support outside of 2 games a year, when I hope we trounce them and bring them to submission on the pitch. But the Bavarians, a perennial powerhouse, started in 1929, a quality club. They are going to be a team to reckon with. I think it's 3 national championships they have, and they're a tough squad.
So you're sharing that picture. It was like a roster picture of the Bavarians from the 1930s or something. And was there a Bisworm on that?
There was my Uncle Hans.
Uncle Hans playing for the Bavarians.
Yep. So there's every male that's played soccer in my family at some point has played for the Bavarians. So
Traitor.
I know. Well, that was before this was even started. So yeah. So it was 7 years ago. Right.
Yep.
So,
the world keeps turning, John.
And then there's another team that's closer to us that people could really care less about. That's Minnesota United Reserves. So everyone's focusing their attention on the future MLS team, but they do have a reserve squad. So that will be our crosstown rivalry that we'll have there. No idea what the makeup of their team is. I do know that they don't ever focus on signing college players. So. There's that. We're going to be able to pull from the cream of the crop.
So it's their talent farm of like random internationals that they've convinced to move to Minnesota and fight for a roster spot.
Correct.
Nice.
Correct. So that rounds out the league. So there's a lot to go on, and we'll cover a lot. We'll preview each team once we get closer to the season. As we get closer to playing them. But that, in a nutshell, probably a little more long-winded than we wanted, but it is the first time we're explaining this to some folks, is our team, our leadership, and the league we play in.
Well, and if you're just coming blind into this fandom of Minneapolis City, you kind of need to at least have a good grounding of what's going on and who they're going to be playing.
Right.
Everything's new, right? From everything from the kits to the logo. To everything. It's all brand new this year.
Correct. I mean, outside of reading our Wikipedia page, I mean, you need to know. Someone needs to tell you what's going on. But you're correct. We have a new identity. We are from scratch.
You say identity like you're an advertising executive.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
So we had to build this. From the ground up, and that includes what does Minneapolis City look like when it takes the field? What's it look like, in the digital space, as you would say, and that includes the logo. And it seems like hasn't been as well received as we had hoped. I like it. I think it's a nice change.
It's different.
It's
it really
different.
is different, and it's the people's logo.
Well, I'm going to introduce Trent. My man Trent Edwards here is the guy that designed the Minneapolis City logo, and a lot of the vitriol directed towards Minneapolis City and its logo choice has really hit him hard. But we're going to give him a chance to kind of fight back and read, do some mean tweet reading. And maybe respond to some of his harshest critics. So, Trent, how you doing?
Yeah, welcome, Trent.
I'm great, guys. It's been a tough couple of weeks here. I'm
You're hanging in
starting to pick myself up and dust off, the old shoulders.
Nice.
Contrary to popular belief on Twitter, I have in fact designed a logo before. This was not my first exercise in this.
It wasn't your first rodeo.
No, many rodeos.
Almost like it's your job.
As if it were something that I did professionally.
Wow.
Yeah. Incredible.
People pay
I know.
you to
People
do
pay.
this.
Yeah. We wanted to do something really nice for this, and we wanted to do something non-traditional, and so there's certainly, from my perspective, it's no surprise that there's been some controversial remarks around the logo. Soccer is a game with a deep heritage and a lot of non-creative followers. And if they can't look outside of their very small, tiny little boxes and see a bigger world, right? And climb out from under the bridge every now and then and envision a world of possibilities. Well, I feel sorry for them.
Well, who are some of these people, and what have they been saying, Trent?
Well, there are a few specifically here that I took some time to jot down before we met here tonight. A guy named Spencer Ho simply suggested that I try harder with about 10 R's, which I think was maybe his demonstration of what it means to try harder. Using simply a keyboard.
Try harder, R repeated.
Yes, yeah. And he was really trying at that R, and he really nailed it.
Maybe he just fell asleep.
He could have stroked out. There are a lot of things here.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump to too many conclusions in case it's serious, but
Rage
it's
stroke.
We hope he's okay.
sorta. Yeah, sorta. Spencer, our hearts and prayers are.
Do you happen to have his Twitter handle? We can.
Yeah, it's just at Spencer Ho, and that's Ho Haugh, not Ho, as I had expected.
Okay, all right. Well, are there any others?
Yeah, there's a few others. At Amy Fee Gardner said, I think I'd rather have a traditional Euro-style design if this is the only alternative. Well, Amy, of course this isn't the only alternative. There are a world of possibilities. You really, come on. This is the alternative.
This is someone
that you're getting.
As if she analyzes soccer logos for a living. Well, I prefer the Euro-style design, but I can see where there's some Italian influence that I would really prefer over Brazilian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Famous design historian, specifically soccer.
Amy Fee Gardner, soccer logo historian.
Yep.
Maybe we should hire her for the next logo.
I would love
some direction
for her to just bring some of that historical context and really show me how it's done. That Mr. at MN Nice FC said something that was not so nice. Said, "Is this real? I hope it's not. Not so mean, not so nice. From at MN Nice, I expected something a little more passive aggressive, like something."
Yeah.
Well, it's real, buddy, and so welcome to your nightmares.
Yeah. Maybe your Twitter handle should be at passive aggressive FC.
Yeah. And then the icing on the cake is at Ferg Tweets, who just totally committed to his level of anger and hatred, and said, "That is complete and utter crap, and whoever designed this should be caned." which really,
Canes.
oh yeah, he just really.
I
you
thought
know,
it was canned.
No,
because your handwriting is so
that was
bad.
he
went
said
right-
canned.
yeah.
Really aggressive. Took it to a place that I personally didn't feel like it needed to go.
Sir, that punishment's been outlawed in the States for quite a few years.
Yeah, not really fitting of the crime, I don't think.
I think it goes to show that people have opinions about something that has absolutely nothing to do with them on any level.
Right.
Like the strongest opinions about a soccer team that is in its infancy.
You know, I have some pretty strong opinions on how to install a water heater. But you don't see me going on Twitter bashing Joe the plumber, you know.
Well, I think hopefully people come around, but if they don't, feel free to continue to tweet.
Yeah, please.
Or send us an email at mnscpodcast@gmail.com, and we will pass it along to Trent. And
I think you've said the
explain it.
different email address 3
I
times.
probably have.
It's mcscpodcast@gmail.com. Is there?
Well, we'll get it. We'll get there.
Send it to all of the emails.
Yeah,
And
one of them will stick. A lot of redirects. But before we put the logo to bed, Trent, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your process was to get there before these people tore apart your hard-earned, your hard work.
Yeah, well, John, interesting you should ask. This whole process started when, in fact, Dan and I sat down to just talk about the club and what you guys were doing, and the member-owned model, and the thought that this would really be something that was grassroots and different and stood out. And so, that was where it started. That's where, from that, taking that model and thinking, this really needs to be something that's different. It needs to not feel like every other soccer logo. It needs to not feel like something with rich heritage, but something that has been formed more from a groundswell and is supported by the members. And so we really very intentionally went with something that felt sort of grassroots, that felt sort of almost amateur. It's professionally amateur, folks. And so that was kind of where it started. And as we see this evolve over the course of the season, we're going to start to see what that looks like on kits, and we've already seen the concepts, and we're going to stay really close to that, and how that looks on scarves, and even how it starts to look on posters and things like that. And we really wanted to create a mark that intentionally stepped back, so we could work with various designers and illustrators and people like that from the Twin Cities to create some of these promotional materials and really have all of the work feel like it's community formed, just like the club.
I mean, wow, I couldn't really say it any better than that.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope you feel bad for yourselves, people who told Trent his design wasn't nice.
Say what you will about the logo, it's not ever going to be as bad as the logo for Columbus Crew.
Oh yeah,
Just 3 dudes in hard hats.
just not the pail.
Not what I want to buy.
Right.
Not what I want to have on my scarf.
Right, and to Trent's point, we didn't want to put a bird on it. We didn't want to have a dragon or some sort of coat of arms. We wanted to create something from scratch, and that's what we did.
This isn't some sort of feudal society
it's not
where everyone needs a coat of arms.
Yeah, a talisman for some house in Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Flies.
Or Lord of the Flies too. Yeah. We wanted more Lord of the Flies, less Lord of the Rings.
That's right. That's exactly right, John.
Yep.
Yeah. Come on, people, evolve here.
But I think the key takeaway is this logo looks really cool on hats.
It looks
merchandise.
Awesome on hats.
Merch.
Scarves and merch.
Yeah.
And
coming soon.
Take to the internet, folks. Place your orders. Email us at MNFCSDG.
MCSC Podcast. MCSC Podcast @gmail.com.
Or you can go to...
What's wrong with you people? Am I the only professional in this room?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
That's why you were brought on, because we needed much like Alan, who's taking control of our technical direction, you are our podcast direction, being a professional. But if you have any questions about things or you want to learn more about the club, you can always go to mplscitysc.com, where our shop will be overflowing with merchandise that Trent will design, and you will buy, and you will like it.
It's an abundanza.
Yeah. But Trent, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for having a rock solid jaw after all those haymakers you took.
Yeah. Like I said, it's been tough, but
you know what? Those guys.
The swelling's going down, and
well, bag of peas on there.
Yes, absolutely.
Frozen peas on there.
Warm, lukewarm. Just
Nothing
mushy bag of peas.
Yep, that's what their opinions mean. There's a bunch of mushy bag of peas. But thank you very much for all your hard work. Thank you for coming on. I believe that by the end of the year, we'll bring you back, and you'll be like, oh man, look how many shirt designs I saw on the streets. Look how many hat designs I saw in the crowd.
People, so many shirts.
Yeah, look how many scarves were waving with my design on them. So
dozens,
yeah.
Literally dozens.
At least 70, because that's how many members signed up.
Oh,
so
good.
far.
So we got that.
So people will have the scarves. Thank you very much again.
Yeah.
We're glad you came on. I know we're running a little bit over, so we're going to kind of jump through things here. The week ahead and what's going on with the team, the comings and goings of the organization. I'd mentioned earlier on, Nate, that we're finishing up the Open Invitational Combine, the Invitational Combine, but we're going to be moving into an Open Combine. And what that means is that anyone who feels that they have the skills to try out for the team may do so. The dates are March 13th and March 20th. Registration is limited, so please make sure that when I get the URL correct at the end of this statement, that you're going on if you're interested and you're signing up. But March 13th and 20th, from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Please arrive 30 minutes early to complete the registration. Cost is $50, includes a free T-shirt which has a Trent design on it.
It's a great T-shirt, folks.
It's a great T-shirt. You'll either get a black one or a white one, depending upon how teams are divided up. And the location is the Alchemy Sports Complex, 2465 Wayzata Boulevard in Long Lake, Minnesota. And like we said, it's $50 per person. If you want to sign up, please go to mplscitysc.com and click on the tryout tab in the main navigation, and you can sign up there.
Well, I mean, that would be something for anyone that really is about to graduate high school, right? And anyone that's really literally anyone.
It could be anyone.
Okay.
If you're willing to pay the $50 entry fee, we will have you out there. We will give you a look.
All right. Well, sweet.
Think of it. What's that movie with Mark Wahlberg where he plays for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh God.
Shooter.
Not Shooter. He plays for the Eagles. Yeah.
Not The Replacements.
No, but close to that.
No, The Longest Yard.
No, not Blindside.
Blindside. Are you sure it's not Blindside?
I'm pretty sure it's not Blindside. But you know what we're talking about. He goes to the Philadelphia Eagles tryout, ends up making the team, and I believe Disney.
The Riley Cooper story?
Disney did some stuff, and then he scored a touchdown. Yeah. So that could be you, folks. If you're interested in playing, please come out. Please, we will absolutely take it seriously. Anyone is invited. Go online and check it out.
Yeah, I won't be there, so it'll be serious. But next week, I mean, we're going to be doing this podcast every week up to and through the season. Next week, we definitely want to talk about the player signings. I think we've got a lot of young guys that are excited to hit the field, and we're going to interview someone.
Right? Yeah. We don't know who it is yet. We're going to interview someone.
Yep. I mean, there's a number of people. One of them with a British accent that we might be able to interview, or John's dad.
Yeah, who have a German accent.
German accent. Hey, I think if we can get a guy with an accent, we're set.
And not Trent pretending to have an accent,
right.
Just because he's in close proximity to the microphone. But as we close out here, a few last words. Thank you so much for putting up with us for longer than we said we would. We will trim things down. We will get better at this. Thank you again for Trent coming out. Another shout out to Summit Brewery, our official craft brew sponsor of the People's Pitch podcast, the official podcast of Minneapolis City SC.
We're going to leave you with a song by a local band, Go Get 'Em Tiger. They do our theme song, our opening song, and they're just killing it on the Minneapolis scene, fronted by Paul Schanfeld, who is a current member of the Segment Soccer Club. I have been Nate. This has been John.
I am John. Thank you very much for being with us. Enjoy the music.